Chris, one of the things that I hear really often is that small business owners, business founders, nonprofit executive directors are carrying a lot and don't often have resources to help them carry it.
Hi there, Chris Godfredson with the Brimstone Coaching Group, welcoming you to Live Fully, Lead Authentically, a Brimstone Coaching Group podcast. You just heard from my friend and co-founder, partner, Kurt Bush, and it's good to be with you today, Kurt, and to have a conversation about a really vital topic.
Yeah, it's good to sit down and talk about this. We've been talking about this for a while, so it's nice to put it on a podcast and
Yeah,
put it in the public.
yep, it'll be entertaining conversation, and we're talking about founders and nonprofit directors and things like that today. That doesn't mean that everybody else should tune out. It simply means that uh, of all the people that we interact with and we work with, we know that oftentimes those people, solopreneurs, however you pronounce that word, right?
That's a
Uh,
boy, that's a you're going for it.
yeah, right. I mean, right out of the gate. But oftentimes those folks are carrying so much and often they're carrying it alone, or at least it feels as though they're
Yeah,
carrying it alone, right? And
yeah.
so there's there's so much to think about and to talk about. And so we are going to embark on a series of podcasts that is aimed at these people who are carrying so much and kind of the impact of carrying heavy loads that I don't think any of us were meant to carry ourselves. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I mean, as you said that, I mean, I think there's a lot that stirs in me when you say
Hmm.
that we aren't meant to carry that. I mean, I think what's true about this is we're going to spend these 5 episodes talking about topics that specifically these folks are going to resonate with. We think that
Hmm.
because we are those folks and have
We've been
been.
those folks, and they've told us as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've told us as much, and whether it's leading a nonprofit organization, which we've both done for years,
Hmm.
or launching a small business, right? And I think what's true is I I I, I think you're right that we're not meant to carry it alone, but it is so hard to find help carrying it, to
Hmm.
know how to
Yeah.
ask for help in carrying it. That might be the hardest part. But
Yeah.
even if we can muster up the courage to say I need some help, like who do we ask for help from? You know?
Right. Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
good question. And oftentimes we're people in these situations, scenarios. One thing is to invest in advertising. It's a whole nother thing to think about investing in your own health
Yeah.
and well-being to be
Yeah.
able to understand yourself in ways that can get you free and clear from some of the things that are keeping you carrying the load all by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you I told you I wasn't going to interview you, but you said it, so I'm going to ask you, and I'll answer
Uh,
too.
yeah.
When you say carrying a load, like, will you want to say that differently, so the listener maybe knows what
Yeah.
that looks like?
So there's just a ton of responsibility that comes with being a nonprofit director or being a sole proprietor, being a mission-driven leader. And oftentimes they say that leadership is lonely. It's lonely at the top.
Yeah.
And and in these kinds of organizations, there might be a board if you're leading a nonprofit, but those folks aren't involved in the day to day. And what's true about the day to day in so many of these kinds of systems is that the pressure is similar
Yeah.
and it's yours.
Yeah.
It feels, at the very least, it feels like it's ours alone to carry. And so
Yeah.
there aren't vice presidents or HR folks to run things by. You're making decision after decision after decision
Yeah.
and needing to generate business or needing to encourage and spur on volunteers. And so all of that is just a lot, seems
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Is there more
Yeah.
that you would say or hit on when you think about the load that people are carrying?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would echo all that. I think one thing that I feel, I think if I can speak for my own experience, I think I feel things like, hey, this coaching practice we're building or this other business that my wife and I run, like these are our babies, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I don't know, I'm not ready to say whether that's appropriate or inappropriate for me to like feel that strongly or that connection, but it feels like this is mine to own the good, the bad, and there's just an immense amount of pride and maybe even some
Mm,
fear of like, what if I take a break? What if I pause? What if I
yeah.
go on that trip out of town?
Yep.
So that's what I think of. It's like there
Mm,
is a sense of ownership and pride that brings with it some inherent fear sometimes. Um, I had a leader that I was that I reported to at one point in my career. Try to be a little bit vague here, but this was a leader in in a nonprofit organization, and there was a board that this leader led and was
mhm.
responsible for. And I'll never forget, and this will probably come up in this series, but I'll never forget one time this senior leader said to me, as if sort of a teaching moment, said, you just can't let people see you bleed.
Mm,
And I in the moment, I remember thinking, okay, this is probably something I need to take in. I don't know that I thought it was um, out of line or out of place or not ideal. I think I took it in stride, and I think over time, what I saw was, man, that is so hard. That is such
yeah.
a high bar. It's such a an impossible task. So
Hmm.
when I think of carrying the load, I think of that mental model that
Yeah.
says at all cost, I have to
Mm,
I have to I have to exude confidence. I have to exude control and maybe not in like a narcissist way, but like control of like I know what's like I'm driving the ship, you know?
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Can I add one to that?
Yeah,
Like
please.
as you said that, it just like it stirred something in me, and so in so much of my earlier life in my business ownership life pre Brimstone Coaching Group, the reality is, and it's still true in the people we work with, but the reality of the customer is always right
Yeah.
has such an impact on day-to-day operations. And there,
Yeah.
I think there were so many times. So we talk about this on this podcast regularly, the idea about being emotionally mature and being a self, being a person. And there
Yeah.
were so many times when that's the mantra and the
Yeah.
expectation that I felt like I was giving up self a lot just to keep people happy because
Yeah.
I needed the business, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and so then in that, like, as I think about it now, I would have behaved significantly differently, I think, in terms of what I was willing to cave on and what I might have held my customers responsible for in ways. And so, like, all of that is so weighty, right?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
having to make decisions like that that says, huh, am I really going to give that away or give that percentage away because
Yeah.
they didn't happen to follow through on their end of the bargain?
Yeah.
All of this just, it's like, I think we pay so, and these people, not the nonprofit people, but the for-profit small business owners, the retailers in this world, we all pay a tax.
Yeah.
We pay taxes to the
Yeah.
government, but here's the thing: we pay a tax
Yeah.
uh, in the load that we're carrying that we don't have any language for or understanding or any place to go with it.
Yeah.
The impact is more significant than paying your
Yeah.
federal income tax. I'm telling you.
Chris, I think you make a good point. I think what's true, and I think what you and I would say is that we know starting a coaching practice is going to be a higher tax.
Mhm.
Like there is more responsibility, there is more pressure. Even I think leading a nonprofit, I think there is an understanding like this hard. It's just
Mhm.
hard.
Right.
And and I think that all the more makes the case that there needs to be a support to carry that load, right?
Yeah.
I
Yep.
think sometimes the posture that I want to take is, if I'm most honest, the posture is like, well, I signed up for this.
Yeah.
Suck it up, buttercup,
Exactly. Yeah.
but I think that makes the case of like, no, I think the higher the responsibility and the pressure, the more the need for some help.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, so this 5 episode series, we're gonna get at some really pointed topics. Um, Probably not anymore. Well, maybe a little more pointed than usual. We're gonna talk about stuff like sabotage,
Mm.
and resistance, and some margins, and those might be foreign concepts at this point to some people. Maybe people hear sabotage and think of like those spy movies. Uh, you
Yeah.
know, Maybe I'm dating myself a little bit, but
A little bit. Yeah.
yeah, spy movies, is that even like
What are we talking
a
about? Yeah.
genre? Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. That just
Yeah. I
felt
can't
like the
even
right
come up with a spy movie.
007. I mean, James
Oh,
Bond.
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna get at a different topic every week, with the hopes of just saying, like, look, this sort of support and help and lightening of the load begins with an awareness, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And simple practices, I would imagine. Like, this is not the episode where we tip those off, where we tip our hand. You get the log back in 2 weeks when we drop the first episode. But the idea, in particular, that idea of sabotage is one that I don't think we spend any mental energy considering the fact that in our own struggle and in our own day to day routines, there are things that we do that we don't know that we're doing that are self sabotaging. And that's really
Yeah.
where we're going to be going, right? There are opportunities for us to become aware of things that we're doing and things that we aren't doing that really are in our way from really our flourishing, our businesses or our nonprofit flourishing, and all of our relationships flourishing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we will get at that idea and in some of the ways in which self sabotage is alive and unwell in us, if I can put an un in the middle of that phrase.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we'll even try to help leaders navigate the self part of this, but then also like, how do I manage myself when others start to do this thing in my
Yeah.
direction?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Because that's
because I
also part of the load, right?
yeah, 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 for sure. And I think what we see so often in our work is there are just a lot of mental models that don't serve well in cases like sabotage or resistance. There's
Yeah.
a lot of mental models that want to neutralize and have conflict and attack. And I hope that we can invite people to think it in a different way.
Yeah.
Um, I want to, I don't know, can I share a little bit why this feels kind of alive in me?
I think that would be beneficial.
Um, I had I had a coach that my nonprofit organization employer uh, paid for me to have
Yeah.
for years before you and I started coaching.
Yep.
An amazing coach. And I still at sometimes felt alone in the nonprofit world. Like I had all the resources at my fingertips that well, not, I had a lot of resources, and I
Yeah.
still had times where it's like, man, I'm alone in this thing, right?
Hmm.
Um, I I I talked to a lot of you and I both talked to a lot of
Yeah.
nonprofit leaders, a lot of solopreneur types, and they don't have similar resourcing,
Yeah.
don't have similar avenues to go down to find some help. But then the other day, I was talking to I'm just going to say like a C-suite executive type
Mm. Hmm.
who works in like talent development for a very large company,
Mm. Yeah.
and they have resource after resource after resource for their people,
Yeah.
and their problem is, man, how do we find tools and resources? Their problem is, how do we get people to use them? And
Yeah.
and those
Right.
feel like such different
Hmm.
problems, if I can use the word problem. And I think over the last 6 months or so, I think I've just really felt like, man, I think there is just an underserved demographic of leaders that that well, let me tell you one. Can I tell you one more story?
Please.
Um, I have I have some family who own a vet clinic.
Mm.
Um, and they, they're just doing everything they can to stay afloat. And a few years back, they asked for some HR help. I have some HR in my past, so I
Hmm.
gave them they gave them some HR help. And
Hmm.
and this, like, I could see it in their faces. It was like a literal weight
Hmm.
lifted off of them,
Yes.
right? Like they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to handle these things. Just a simple, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? Let's put this process in place. That actual, like, little bitty help, like it didn't take me much, was a
Yeah.
huge burden off. So I wonder just how many other people are carrying such heavy loads, and maybe don't need to.
Right. Yeah. I'm quite certain that they are plentiful. And
Yeah.
the like, day in and day out, back in the day, when I was running our business and as I was calling on customers, you just see it.
Yeah.
You not only see it, they tell you
Yeah.
how challenging, how hard it is, how the economy is doing this, or people are doing that.
Yeah.
And at the time, like, I'm here to listen to you and to sell you something.
Yeah.
And boy, like I just wonder, I've learned a lot more about listening
Yeah.
and to be able to ask the right question and to provide tools today that if I had had then, I don't know, like I probably would have never gotten out of people's places of business. But
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, the the reality is, yeah, there's a lot to what you just said.
Yeah. So, yeah, Chris, once again, I mean, I think our invite to the listener is to say, if you are one of those folks, the enterprise-minded folks, the solopreneur, small business owner, merchant, retailer,
Mhm.
nonprofit, director, um, hit follow on Spotify
Mm,
or subscribe on YouTube, however you're, or Apple, whatever you're listening, hit follow or subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. If you're not one of those people, don't tune out. There's still going to be plenty of value for you. But yeah, if you're listening and maybe you have a friend or
exactly.
a sibling or a parent or somebody that you think, man, they're carrying a heavy load by themselves, maybe send them a link. Maybe this
Yeah.
is of value to them.
Yep, I would echo that. I think that that's the kindest thing that you can do. It's probably the most helpful thing that you could do for people that you know who are like in it to win it, kind of carrying it on their own. These episodes are going to be beneficial. So
Yeah.
I would echo that. Share widely.
Uh, Here's one more thing, Chris. We're
Yeah.
gonna try something new. We've never
Mm,
done this before. I think we want to invite listeners to engage with us, to give feedback, to ask questions, to wonder about our
mm,
coaching process, to wonder about things we've said.
yeah.
So we want to open up a means of communication with a promise to address those communications.
What?
Yeah. Yes.
What are you talking about?
Well, if you listen to other podcasts might call this a mailbag
Ah,
episode.
yes, the
Uh,
mailbag episode. There
yep.
we go.
Meaning, if people want to reach out to us and give us feedback, ask questions, or just say something, just engage
Hmm.
with us
Yeah.
in the podcast. We will engage back in an episode in the future, um, on a regular basis if we get enough mailbag
Good. Sounds
response.
great.
There's a couple ways people can do that. They can engage with us via email at livefullyleadauthentically@gmail.com.
Hmm.
The name of the podcast at gmail.com. I'll put that in the show notes.
Okay.
They can also leave a comment on Spotify or YouTube or either of our LinkedIn pages or the Brimstone Coaching LinkedIn page or the Brimstone Coaching Fit. Anywhere
Or the
people can
Brimstone
comment.
Coaching Facebook and Instagram pages.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
anywhere.
Anywhere people engage with us, if you leave a question or a comment, we will engage it on our mailbag episodes when we get enough of those to engage them, which hopefully is pretty soon.
Going to be probably be in a couple of days.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
My hope, like my vision for this is like maybe someone has a question about a leadership challenge, or maybe someone has a
Yes.
question about something they're engaging or something they're navigating. We would love to be able to engage with those on a podcast in a podcast setting. So
I think that sounds like a ton of fun.
I think so too.
I'm
I
going
think
to
so too.
enjoy watching you listen, answer those.
No, 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 no. You're going to answer those.
Okay.
So again, that's live fully, lead authentically at gmail.com. I'm about to sneeze. Chris, you better wrap us.
Yeah, thanks for being with us today. And we look forward to the next several weeks where we will be diving into topics that help you understand how to live fully and lead authentically, even while you're carrying the heavy load. So until next time, thanks for being with us.